We've seen the basics of working with strings. Now I want us to take a look at some functions that we can use with strings. We haven't looked at a lot of functions yet. So far we've really just looked at the PHP info function and echo. Those are really the two main functions we've seen. So we're going to start diving into the world of functions. And before we do, I just want to remind you that the php.net website has some excellent documentation for functions. And it will tell you all of the different functions that are predefined in PHP. It'll tell you how to use them, has good user submitted tips for you. All of that's there. And you can browse through those if you're looking for something and you're not quite sure what it is. Or if you know the name of the function, you can just type it into the search bar at the top and it will return the documentation for it directly. All right, let's take a look at a few. So let's start by opening up our strings.php that we were just working on before. And we'll just do a save as on that real quick and make this string underscore functions.php. That's what we're going to call it, string functions. And let's take everything out between all these PHP tags here. There we go. Now I have a nice space to drop in my code. I'm going to start by just pasting in some text so that you don't have to watch me create it. You can pause the movie if you want to copy some of this down. I've got a string that I'm assigning to the variable first. String is the quick brown fox. And I've got another string jumped over the lazy dog with a space at the beginning that I'm assigning to second. So we've seen how we assign variables to strings like we're doing there. And we've also seen concatenation. We've seen how we could just concatenate these before. I want to show you another way to do concatenation real quick. We can do concatenation and assignment at the same time. So let's say we have third. It's going to be another variable. And third is going to be equal to first. And then on a new line, it's going to be third is equal to concatenated equal to second. All right, do you see what it's doing there? So it says, all right, first of all, third points to the same thing as first does. Going to get that same string and bring it into third. Now, in the next line, I'm going to tell third that it should add on the second string to the end. It should concatenate it to what's already there. It's like appending it to the end. The values of first and second haven't changed. Those values are exactly the same still, but third now has the complete phrase in it. This is going to be a very handy way to write your code if you're trying to build up a string over time. We'll definitely use it when we start working with MySQL later on. And of course, I could then say echo $third. All right, so now that we have our third string, let's take a look at some functions. I'm just going to drop down here a little bit. Let's put in a BR tag. And then instead of opening up PHP tags again, I'm going to paste in some more text here. This includes some HTML as well as PHP tags calling some functions. So these are the string functions that we're going to be learning. The first function that I want us to look at is string to lower. So strtolower, that's the name of the function. And functions often take something as an argument. They take something as input into the function, and then they return output to you. So the input in this case is going to be inside the parentheses, and it's going to be our variable third, which is equal to the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. So that whole phrase is being sent into string to lower, and you can guess what string to lower does. It lowercases it. So it then returns a lowercase value, and then echo, another function, echoes it back. So we're calling one function on the results of another function. The argument to echo is the results of string to lower. Now we have the same thing here with string to upper, raising it to uppercase. UC first is going to make the first letter uppercase, and UC words will make the words all uppercased. So let's just try that out so we can see what it does. So let's save it. Let's go back to Firefox, and instead of strings, we're now going to be loading up string underscore functions. So there it is. So you see here's the original phrase that we echoed the first time. Here's the lowercase version, the uppercase first only. Everything else stayed lowercased, and uppercase words where each one gets uppercased. So make sure that you understand that idea before we go on. Let's just do a few more here. I'll just put a BR tag. And we're going to do length, string len, strlen is going to tell us the length of a string. Trim, I'm going to use a different phrase here just to illustrate it. What trim does is it removes the leading or trailing white space, right? That's spaces. No matter how many there are, it gets removed. So I've got A being concatenated with a trimmed version of BCD followed by E. All right, so there should normally, if there was no trim here, it would be A space, B space, C space, D space, E. But the trim is going to take out those spaces. We'll see that in a second. Find, which uses strstr. That's the function name. The way you can remember that is that you're finding a string within a string. That's why it's called strstr. So inside the string that third points to, we're going to look for brown. We'll see what that returns. And then replace by string is going to replace quick with superfast inside third. So it takes 3 arguments, right? So we now have something that takes 2 arguments and another one that takes 3 arguments. The order of those arguments is important, and it's something that you have to look up or know already from the way the function works. And you can look those up on the php.net website if you forget them. The way that string replace works is it wants the thing you're looking for, the thing you're replacing it with, and then the item that we're searching inside of. They call it the haystack often. We're searching for a needle in a haystack. Well, the haystack is third, and the needle we're looking for is quick. We're looking for quick inside third, and we're going to replace it with super fast. So let's try those real quick and see what those look like. Go back and just hit reload. So the length of it is 45 characters long. That's how many letters and spaces there are in there. Notice here that the spaces got trimmed out of B, C, D, so that there is no space now between A, B, and D, E. Find did find the word brown. Notice what it returned to us. It returned everything after that in the string. So it found it, and the result, what it returned back, was not just the word itself, it was everything that follows. That's the behavior of find. Again, the documentation will tell us that that's the way it behaves, and we might want to slightly modify that or account for that in our code to handle it. If we were looking for something like we want the word that follows brown, well, we then have to apply a few more functions to it so that we could get the word fox from that. Replace by string, you can see that it put the super fast brown fox. So it did exactly what we would have expected. Okay, let's look at one last set, br. And we're going to look at repeating, str_repeat will repeat a string. It's going to repeat third 2 times. Echo substring, substr, that's going to make a substring from third, starting at the 5th position to the 10th position of the string. And string position is going to tell us the position of brown. Tells us where brown is located. Or we can find a character. Where is the character Z located? And it'll return a number to us, telling us where that's located. These positions can be really helpful. If we're trying to parse out, we're trying to find where something is and then make a substring from it, then you can see how we can use a combination of tell me what the position is or find it for me, and then make a substring starting at this position going until whatever position is, the ending position. Let's try those out real quick. Let's go back. And you see repeat, the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog, the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. Make substring, you can see where it grabbed. It grabbed from the 5th character going forward. Notice that the 5th character is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So that's where it started, is from the UIC. And then find position of brown is in the 10th position. And then find character, we were looking for Z. It works the same way that find did, right? When we were up here, it found brown and returned everything after it. Returning Z returns everything from Z going forward from there. So these are your first set of functions. This is the way that PHP is going to work. We're going to be able to manipulate all sorts of things by using different functions. And these are the string functions. These are not the only ones. There are a lot more. And I don't expect that you will have memorized all of these. You're going to be looking them up for a while till they become second nature to you. You're going to have to make yourself some notes. Keep yourself a little chart. Maybe jot down the ones that you use most often so that they're there as a handy reference. Or just keep the php.net website open so that you can quickly go and search and look up how you use each of these. I've been using PHP a long time, and I'm still constantly looking up the usage of these and the order of the arguments and that kind of thing. Now that we've explored strings and string functions, we're ready to move on and look at integers.